13 Assassins, directed by Eiichi Kudo, is a Japanese film set in the Kaku period in Japan from 1844. It follows the story of 13 samurai who are hired to settle a matter of political catastrophe regarding the assault of Chise, the wife of Mikino Unume from the Owari fief, who was also murdered at the hands of Lord of the Akashi Matsudaira Naritsugu, who has also been considered to be a member of the Council of Elders, worth 100,000 koku, or 100,000 in this clan. This occurs while they are along their journey and will be returning to their fief at their home next month. Although this appears to be a difficult mission with the 13 samurai, they are headed by Chief Inspector Shimada Shinzaemon, an exceptionally talented shogunate. He's of the famed hereditary vassalage that goes back to the dawn of the shogunate, someone who is deemed appropriate for matters of national concern. The 13 samurai make preparations in order to carry out the plan of attack. As a member of the Council of Elders, one could never disobey the command of His Highness and sever his bloodline. But if it isn't done, order will turn into chaos, and calamity will infect the entire nation. This is the reason such measures had needed to be taken. Hanbei, an elder councillor of the Akashi fief, is tasked to find a way out of this situation alive for their clan, though he sees the battle ahead. Finally, the battle takes place along the trail where the clan is trapped, to which the 13 samurai, with fewer casualties than their opponents, are victorious in this battle. Sir Shinzaemon allows Hanbei, whom he's known over the years, to kill him with his sword after he takes the life of the Lord of the fief. In the beginning, there is much preparation in the lead-up to this task. The leader, Shinzaemon's nephew, Shinro Kuro, is deciding whether he wants to join the offer and discusses it with his uncle. He enjoys spending time and being responsible to his geisha Owen, playing music and having a good time. Speaking to Shinzaemon, he begins saying he's done some study recently, saying dogs become thoroughly loyal pets, but cats don't. Shinzaemon says, "You're trying to tell me that it's better to be a geisha cat than a samurai dog? Is that it? I want nothing to do with hiring a horny cat." This in a way refers to his nephew Shinrakura as being somewhat of a horny cat, by his idea of choosing his responsibilities to his geisha Owen than his fellow samurais. It also refers to Naritsugu, who couldn't resist himself in his temptation to Chise, Makino Unume's wife, and which has brought everybody else into this mess. So after this conversation, Shinrakura decides to join and says goodbye to Owen. In the world of the samurai, as opposed to another human, Shinzaemon, in this example, explains that they say human life is uncertain, but the life of a samurai is not. He lives when he fights to die, and he dies when he fights to live. I have been faithful in the way of the samurai. That's what I keep on telling myself, he says. Another example is when the country samurai they meet along the way, Kigo Kyoto, wants to fight with them in the hope that he can prove his valor to the father headman of the lady geisha he wishes to be with and who likes him also. Hoping this act will count for something, and similar to Shinrakura, only a man who has been willing to die for love can understand how that feels. That, believe it or not, it can become a matter of life and death. Adding also that the boy and girl are both idiots, that they've happened upon this plan, and instead of killing them to keep this secret, it's better that they join this task, which they do. This, again, represents some kind of honor over personal interests, regardless of how good it may feel. I believe this film looks into the world of the samurai in this example, including the honorable expectations that come with it, regarding of how difficult it may be in regards to much of the skillful predictions, swordplay, preparations, and actions. We're looking at the idea of what a samurai does between battles or waiting for battles to occur. There are those who choose to practice their skills, such as creating a new move based on an idea such as the idea that a sword is vulnerable whilst being unsheathed, and a spear is vulnerable when it pulls its thrust back. And thinking about moves that might be based around these facts. There are times when the Akashi procession, their enemy, are supposed to be going down their trail, but suddenly they've disappeared. So all they can do is wait quietly for their moment, rather than moving around the area, possibly tipping off the enemy. At one point, someone is drinking and trying to get some rest. Also, for they believe that this might be the time that they don't come out alive for this battle, for they are outnumbered 1 to 6. It's also mentioned in the story that it's better to live as a samurai honorably than being a laughingstock. In discussing and deciding on decisions the samurais should make as a group, there is a lot of inclusion between each other. In one instance, Sir Sawara, who was feeling that he is somewhat of an outsider, asked for 200 ryo for his services as a samurai. He can pay off debts, loans, and permit some gifts to relatives with this. 30 ryo spent on a headstone for his wife who died after much hardship, 20 to prepare this task, and the remaining 30 to live high on a hog like never before. A once-in-a-lifetime pleasure. To this they say this character is a bargain. Later in the story he also explains further that although he doesn't like being underpaid, he also doesn't like being overpaid, to which he volunteers to take on a task which they are hoping someone could fill. In the relationship between the contrasting leaderships of Sir Shinzaemon and Hanbei, we get an understanding of the respect they have for each other, and the often difficulties of a given task, which can be when trained or promoted as a samurai to a particular clan, as is the case with Hanbei in particular. That with Hanbei we get to see that he is in a situation which is quite difficult, being up against Shinzaemon and the others. This is evident when they are sitting together discussing the matter and the battle they see ahead of them. Though they have some respect for each other, they know both have a duty in their role, as is seen up to the very last moment. In this moment in particular, they leave with the expectations that they will fight with gallantry, which they certainly do or try to keep up to throughout the film. The real-life model for Matsudera Naritsugu, the evil lord in this film, was Matsudera Narikoto, 1825 to 1844. Narikoto was the 26th son of the 11th shogun, Tokugawa Leonard, and the half-brother of the 12th shogun, Tokugawa Ieyoshi. He was adopted by the so-called confusingly named Matsudera Naritsugu, 1803 to 1868, and made the heir to the Akashi fief in preference to Naritsugu's natural-born son. Narikoto was believed to be, by most accounts, a rather nasty character, and in indulging his whims put great financial strain upon the Akashi fief. He died at 20 from an illness, and Naritsugu's natural son once again became the heir. One story has it that while passing through Owari fief, Narikoto ordered the death of a small child who had inadvertently inconvenienced him. The Owari, who were connected to the shogunate, then declared their fief off limits to Narikoto, forcing his party to disguise themselves in order to effect passage. Another version of the story has the father of the child, a hunter, who chasing down Narikoto and shooting him to death. In this story, we see much of these elements represented, giving a strong look into the world of these wide variety of samurais. Thanks for watching.